Hey, welcome everybody. In these moments of uncertainty, we're pushed to adapt, reflect, and sometimes rethink our approach to life. By stepping outside of the rigid frameworks we often set for ourselves, we become more open to new possibilities and deeper insights. It's about embracing the unpredictability of life, using it as a catalyst for self discovery and transformation rather than resisting it. Welcome to another episode of The Other Side of Addiction. I'm your host, Al Richards, and today with our guest, Mario from Red Barn, we, we're going to be discussing I Survived and going over your bio, Mario. My heck, I mean, you and I've chatted just briefly here and there. I had no clue you went through everything that you went through, and that's what I love about doing this show is giving people a chance to use their voice and also this helps get rid of the stigma because people just think people wake up someday and just decide they're going to be a heroin addict or an alcoholic or whatever. And that's not the case. It's something that happens in their life that kind of pushes them to that. And then they start using that as the band-aid. And I'm missing something here.
No, 100%. I agree.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I'll just leave it up to you. You survived. What was it that you survived? So our listeners kind of know your background a little bit.
I mean, we can start from the beginning if that's all right.
Sure, go for it, buddy.
So, I mean, my name's Mario. I'm a person in long-term recovery. I was born in Lancaster, California, to two illegal immigrant parents. Right away when I was born, we moved right back to Mexico. So I kind of grew up in Mexico for the first few years of my life. I remember right around the age of 6, we decided to come back. But this time we didn't come back to California. We came back to Utah. And we crossed the border illegally. This happened a couple of times throughout my life. My parents, they didn't really think that the American dream wasn't really, what they thought it was, And so we came back and forth a few times, crossed the border illegally, right around the age, I think I was right around the age of 10, 11 years old, we decided to stay here. Um, and every time we came back, I mean, we started from the ground. We had no family here. So when we come back, we're living in hotel rooms. My father was working in the roofing industry. Sometimes he would get paid, sometimes he wouldn't get paid. The living conditions were rough. We sometimes wouldn't have enough money to eat. That good stuff. Um, and and all the stuff that I share isn't so people feel bad for me. That's just things that happened throughout my life. So at a young age, money was scarce. Money was a big thing in my life because we didn't have it. Further down the road, my father got a good job, got a decent job. We finally moved into a trailer park, in Orem, Utah. It was we moved up, man. It was a pink little trailer, just a single trailer. But that's where I started hanging out with the wrong crowd. I started hanging out with the gang members to start associating myself with the wrong crowd. At this age, I was like around, 13 years old, 13, 14 years old. And I wanted to be like them. They were my family. They provided structure for me. They had nice vehicles. They had nice clothing. Um, the reason being is because, I mean, obviously they were selling illicit drugs, and so I wanted to be that. So I started getting stuff, started with the marijuana, started getting marijuana from them. I'd go to school and I would start distributing at a young age, not really knowing what I was doing, because I was young. But I liked the money. And soon after that, I had a big thing always for high adrenaline things, and so it's either fighting or I was doing dumb things. And I seen this purse at a store one time, and so I grabbed it, and it had keys of a vehicle, and so I took the vehicle, and I had my little brother with me. He was like 3 years old at the time, I took the I took the vehicle. I went on a joyride, and I got caught, man. I went on a high speed chase when I was very young. I think I was like 14, 15 years old at the time. Um, and that's when I first started getting introduced with detention. I started going to juvenile detention. I'd be going in and out because I wouldn't go and I wouldn't do probation. I would miss, all the UAs and all that stuff. And so I just that continued on my whole young adult life. And that at right around the age of 16, I had my first child. Um, I had two children. By the age of 18, I had two children. Um, and I was uh I was not a very good father. I was young. I was into the gang life. I did not show up for them like I did. They were always at my mom's house. Um, my mom sent me to Mexico because she thought that if she sent me there, that all of a sudden I would be away from everything. It would be a cure. So I go to Mexico, and it was the total opposite. I don't know if she knew, but a lot of my family members down there, they were involved in all kinds of illegal stuff. They were in the underworld, and that's where I first started, learning about different substances like methamphetamines, cocaine, a lot of violence, a lot of different things that probably nobody should be, you know, nobody should be doing. Nobody should,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so that became a regular thing for me. I was down there for about a year. And I did a lot of things, that I'm not very proud of, but it became a normal, usual thing. So I finally came back to the U.S. and the plan was already in motion when I came back. Of They were going to ship me stuff, and I was going to distribute it here. When I was here, I would answer their phone call and I would do their dirt, just the usual stuff that happens, when you're in that life. And that's what I started doing right around the age of 17, 18. That's what I started doing. I started doing all that stuff. And now everything was going in my mind, everything was going well. I was 18 years old. I was making 10, 15,000 a month. Everything was going really good. I thought that I showed up for my kids because I had money was coming in, money was coming into my family. Everything was going good. I had vehicles. I had a condo, everything, but everything came to a very, very big halt. It was October 10th, 2010. I was 20 years old. We were at a distribution house, and everything was like normal, like clockwork, man. Same thing that we've always done. But the guys that I was working with, they did something, and undercovers, DEA, they kicked in the door. Task force came in, kicked in the door, and there we were. I was very, I was very young, 20 years old, getting charged with first degree felonies, distribution, arms, everything, the works. And so I'll go to jail. That was the first time I've been to jail with big charges. And I mean, they were throwing the book at me. I was looking at going to prison for a long, long time. Um, Luckily, I mean, I fought the case all the way through because they didn't catch anything on my person. I was still had that old mentality. You didn't find nothing on me. Everything was outside in the vehicles that were not in our name or anything. And so at the end of the whole thing, the judge gave me the opportunity to go on probation. I was very blessed. So I got out. I was on probation, and this time, when I was incarcerated, I lost the rights to my two kids. That was taken away from me. But luckily, I was in jail to where I was able to process that, and with a clear mind, and I processed that in there. And when I got out, I went to the courts. I was trying to get the custody back of the kids. I was putting in all the work, and they said no. They said that's not a possibility. They were adopted out. Um, at that point in time, that was one of the hardest things that I've ever been through. Knowing the fact that you created people in this earth, and now they're not part of your life, or you can't be part of life because of decisions that I made. And so
Can
I
I
had to stick with that.
I was
I
just
just think,
can I pause you? Can I pause you for a minute? I mean,
yeah,
I just can't imagine what was going through your mind at that time and how you was feeling going, man, here I am wanting to be a good dad and I just failed my kids.
that's 100% correct, man. I felt like a total failure, and not just that, just the shame um, that my family brought upon me, like especially my mom,
Yeah.
um, because she pretty much raised the kids, right? And that was a part of her was missing, just like it was missing out of me. And so she blamed me, and at the time I it was my fault, right? But I felt shame instead of feeling guilt, like, yeah, I did that, but I can do better. I felt shame. So I felt like I was a bad person, and I couldn't change and all these things. And ever since that day, I couldn't have like the relationship between my mother and I was not, is hasn't been, I mean, now it's good, but back then it was never good because I resented her for making me feel that way,
Wow.
like I was less than,
Yeah.
like I was not important, that everything was my fault. Um, but yeah, I went through all that. But I was like, you know what? At least the kids are in a good home. They're together, all that, and I got over all that fact and just journaled about them all the time. And I moved forward with my life. Um, and yeah, I moved forward. I did probation. I met this wonderful woman. We got married. I was 22 years old. We got married. Shortly after we moved out of state. I got off of probation. We moved out of state, and we moved to Arizona. But mind you, in my relationship this whole time, I was still very selfish. Because remember, like I told you guys, is that growing up, money was a big thing for me.
Yeah.
All I cared about was being financially stable and taking care of the people that needed me. I didn't care how I did it. I didn't care what I needed to do. My main goal was to make money so they didn't have to live what I lived through in the past. But I didn't realize that I was putting them through a lot of hard things because I was never home. I was always at work 7 days a week, sometimes 15, 16-hour days. They didn't see me. I worked out of town. I was never home. And that doesn't provide a good home for the kids or the wife, and this happened throughout our whole marriage. I was also very selfish. I treated her very bad because I wanted to do things on my own way, my own terms. Everything was revolved around me. I never asked about them or the kids. It was all about me. And I was married for a long time. I can't believe she put up with this for, for 8 years. So in 2018, or 2016, we moved to Las Vegas. 2018, we decided to get a divorce. Well, she decided, she gave me an ultimatum. She said, "Hey, you either change your ways or you're not gonna have a wife, and I'm very egotistical. That's what you want, that's what we'll do."
Yeah.
And that's what we did. I told her, no problem, we'll get a divorce in. At the time, we had money in the banks. I had a pretty good job. I was working in the mining industry. I'd worked my way up to journeyman millwright. I was in management. So money wasn't an issue at that point. We had plenty of money in the bank. We had vehicles. I had a condo. We had a house. So we just split everything even. She kept the house. She kept everything else. I just kept the condo and a vehicle. So everything went smooth on that part. But going from a house full of children, because we had two kids, going from a house full of children and your wife coming home, it's noisy, it's lively, to
Chaos.
coming home to an empty condo. It's quiet, it's lonely. I'm in my head. I'm thinking about all these things that I should have done, I should say, and I should do, but I'm so pissed off at myself for not doing it. And the first thing that I decide to do is go drink.
Mm.
That's the way that I'm gonna get through that, is to go drink. And at first it was at the house, just a few beers here and there, a bottle. And then I started going to the bars and started doing all that stuff. And then I started doing lines of coke at the bar with the guys. The next thing you know, I was making the phone calls, back to Mexico, back to my family. Hey, let's get back on the horse. And that's what I did.
Wow.
2018, at the end of almost 2000, at the beginning of 2000, end of 2018, I started that ball. I started out in Las Vegas. I branched out to Utah. I moved to Utah to start, a new logistics in Utah, and that's what I did for a little while. But the thing about Utah is you need, it's very easy, to get on the radar, man. If and that's what I did. I was not careful. I didn't care about myself or others, and I started getting in trouble right around the end of 2019, 2020. I was already incarcerated. From 2019 to 2021, I had done most of the 2 years in jail. I
Jeez.
I was out for maybe 30 to 40 days in those 2 years. Um, I did a lot of crazy things. My old mentality came right back. I was involved in a lot of violence, a lot of things that I'm not very proud of again, like I did when I was younger. Um, but I remember the last time I got in trouble was on my birthday, January 8th, 2021. Yeah, I was on my way to Wendover. I had it all set. I had it all planned out, and and I was the apartment complex. I was just picking up all the money that people owed me, and I get to this apartment complex. I'm just hanging out, and all of a sudden, boom, task force is everywhere. Because I'm a wanted fugitive. I had warrants. I never checked in with APMP. I had cutting off my ankle monitor, like all these, all the things that you go through when you're in the lifestyle. And right there, I was thinking in my mind, I'm like, I'm either gonna die today, or I'm gonna spend the rest of my life in prison, because that's what I was doing. And so yeah, they caught me with everything. I was they caught me with a lot of stuff with me, a weapon and all kinds of stuff. And I thought for sure I'm going federal. I'm gonna be gone for a long time. Um, and so yeah, I went to jail on my birthday. I was in there. I seen a flyer for Red Barn Academy, and in that flyer, I seen that um, two alpacas. There was a barn and two guys that were super happy, man. Like I've never seen a human being be so happy. And I'm like, man, I want that. I was such in a dark place in my life that I wanted to be happy again. I wanted to be part of my kids' life, man. I just missed, from incarceration and all that. I had already missed almost 3 years, of their life. And so I wanted to do all that. I wanted to be a better man. I didn't know what feelings were. Ever since I was young, I didn't really have empathy. I think I lost it on that first trip to Mexico. I lost all sense of feeling of anything, because of the things that you do in life. You have to disconnect yourself,
Yeah.
and I wanted that. I knew I wanted that. And I'm trying to get it back, and so I seen this flyer. I'm like, I want to go do that. And so I write a letter to Red Barn Academy and say, hey, I want to join up. And they accepted me, but now it was up to the judge, right? The prosecutor. They weren't on board. They didn't want to let me come. I think I had like one first degree felony, 3 second degree. I had like tic tacs. I could probably give everybody a felony. You know, I had a lot of stuff, man. I was lucky that I wasn't already in prison.
Yeah. No
I don't know if it's my higher power or what it is. I should either be dead right now in prison for the rest of my life, but I don't know what it is, man. My higher power has looked after me, and I've got this opportunity. The judge said, hey, you're a menace to society. You have total disregard for human safety, because in the whole course of these things, I've been to multiple high speed chases. I endangered cops' life. I ran over like all these things, and the judge is super lenient on me. Still said, I am going to give you the opportunity to go to Red Barn Academy. Zero tolerance. You're terminated unsuccessfully off of probation,
Yeah, please.
and I'll allow you to go there. He's like, I can always send you to prison.
Huh.
And so that's what I did. I came to Red Barn Academy April 26th, 2021. And this program has opened up my eyes, man. This program has really, really helped me see things in a way that I wish I would have seen this when I was younger. But if I wouldn't have went through what I went through in my life, I wouldn't be able to help people the way that I can help people now. But
Yeah.
throughout my course of the program, I made this program very hard for me because I was a very violent person. I was very angry. I didn't want to listen to any authority figure. I didn't want to listen to anybody. I thought that I was right. All these narratives in my mind, these behaviors, and I displayed them throughout my whole stay here. I didn't buy into the program until about 14, 15 months, and that's when you do what's called a senior retreat. And that senior retreat is where you get kind of like what we're doing right now, except more in depth. You get all the skeletons in your closet. You write them on paper. You write your whole life story, and you go in there, and it's a group of people, your peers, and the program director, and you share your whole story, everything, every single thing that you're comfortable with, and you share it. And it was the most eye-opening. I can't even explain it. I felt like high and then low and then high and then low. But a week later, by being able to share things that I have never shared with anybody my whole life, saved my life.
Yeah. I can believe that. Definitely. Because I said at the Healing Utah Success Summit last year that the day I became vulnerable was the day my life completely changed.
Yeah.
And it
That's
sounds like that's
exactly
exactly what happened to you.
that's exactly it, man. Because my whole life, like I shared with you, I had a bunch of shame. Even though I had no feelings, I had shame.
Yeah.
I felt shame a lot of my life, but I held everything so down deep inside of me that I couldn't feel anything. And at Red Barn Academy, it's a catalyst. They put you in vulnerable situations your whole stay here, you know, and they take little chinks of your armor here, 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 tear all that down, and then you become kind of like, you're scared little chicken, man. You have nothing, and that's when the healing starts. All that armor came down. I went in there. I was open, honest. I shared my whole story, everything. And I was looking around because I mean, a lot of this stuff is egregious, man. I've done a lot of stuff that no human being should do.
Yeah.
And I was able in there to be 100% honest and share my story. And in that moment when I was sharing my story, I just felt something click, like my heart like started beating again, if that makes sense. I
Yeah.
started feeling the pain that I've inflicted on other families, that I've inflicted on myself and my family. I've taken people away for like all these things that I was going through. And it clicked, man. It clicked that I did all those things, but it doesn't make me the person that I am today. Like
Yeah.
I don't have to feel shame for that stuff because I already did it. There were choices, but they're not me. So I was able to really reflect and move forward with my life, forgive myself for what I did, and move forward. and that was like the beginning of my life. That was the beginning of it.
You know,
And
you said a little bit ago, Mario, that had to be a higher power or something like that that kept you away from a lot of the stuff. I mean, you could have been in deep shit a long time ago, right?
yeah,
And I'm hearing this story of yours, and being a spiritual person myself, that's what I'm seeing, right? That's what I'm envisioning. I'm envisioning my higher power is God, and it's like he's leading you through this process, and it's like he's hinting, right? He's hinting, and you're hitting these different levels, and he's hoping that you're going to learn that lesson, and you finally get that lesson. Now you're out there spreading the word to help those who haven't got the lesson yet. Yeah.
that's exactly it, man. You would think that a normal human being getting hit with the crowbar, getting hit with the baseball bat, getting stabbed, getting shot, you'd feel that a normal human being would get it at that point. But guys like us, like me, is that stuff fueled me. I
Yeah.
live for that stuff. I like to inflict. I like to inflict pain. I liked all that stuff. I lived for that. And in that retreat, I realized that that wasn't me. That's who I thought I should be. That's who I was molded to be.
Yeah.
But that is not me. That's not who I am.
Yeah, because that's you trying to fall into that trap again, right? Because it is so easy to fall back into that trap because
Yeah.
it's what you know, right? That's why like a lot of women fall back into bad relationships because they find a guy that finally treats them right and they don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
They know how to deal with it when they're back in the turmoil. So
Yeah.
back in the turmoil just to want to get out of it again. And I've done the same thing before, right? I've put my hand out to the same dog, and I'm not calling this person a dog. So, please don't look at it that way. But I,
Yeah.
I've reached my hand out there so many times to feed this person, and I got bit 1,000 times, but I was still
Yeah.
doing it because I hadn't learned that lesson yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I feel, man. Is I had to go through all that in my life to be able to get to where I'm at today. That way I can share the message and I can share hope that it doesn't matter what you've gone through or what you put other people through in life or what you've done. There's still change. There's still hope, and the stigmas of people like us can't change is untrue.
Right.
And we can make a difference. We can do something different, and it doesn't take a program like Red Barn to do it. It did for me. But what it takes is really taking a personal inventory of your life and being vulnerable, like you said, and being able to forgive yourself and others
Yeah.
and move forward.
You said something
It,
really key, Mauro. You said something really key about forgiving yourself. That is something that's so hard for
yeah,
us as humans, right? We don't, it's hard for us to share a part of us that we're not proud of. And that's why we keep that shame inside. And that's the reason why we end
yeah,
up making bad choices is because we don't want to let it out because of the shame. But until we can start loving who this person is now,
yeah,
leaving that old person in the past, knowing then, I mean, 17 years ago, I was known as a liar and a manipulator. And I
yeah,
was. I was kind of like you that I would go through and do anything I needed to do to get whatever Al wanted. And it didn't matter who I hurt, what I did, how many lies I told, as long as I got what I wanted. I go back and I look
yeah,
at that past me and see who I am today. And I'm like, man, I am so glad I shed that sucker a long time ago. It's like a snake shedding the skin, right? I shed that.
yeah,
It's gone. It's over with because you now are a, a different person. And I don't like when I hear once a drug addict, always a drug addict. Bullshit. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, you was at one time. You're not now. So
Yeah.
why keep putting that label on your forehead saying that you are? So again, I think that's a good thing too about what Red Barn does, right? Because Red Barn don't stand for that stuff either. You become a
Yeah.
whole
Nope.
individual.
100%, man. That's why I love therapeutic communities,
Yeah.
because they allow us to become vulnerable. They allow us to go through some hard things, and extend a hand out and say, hey, we got you. No matter what happens, it becomes a brotherhood. You got people you can depend on and lean on for the rest of your life. And that's for me in the past, all the people that I depended on and leaned on where people like this is, hey, here's a pound of dope, or hey, here's a dozen semi-automatic weapons. That's the kind of handout and help that I used to get.
Yeah.
And today, hey, you need a job. Hey, how are you doing? Hey, let's go to a meeting, or hey, let's go to dinner. How's your life? How's your wife? How's your kids? Today, that's what life is about. Today I'm a staff member here at Red Barn Academy. Today I get to help people through their struggles and their situations, and help them mold them, and help them see things a different way. And that's my passion, is being able to help people and that are criminally, that are just as involved, because I've been incarcerated. I've done over 7 years of incarceration. I've been on the street. I've been on the other side. I've been in the gangs. I've dealt with organized crime. Like I've done all these things, and to be able to say, hey, I know where you're coming from. I understand, man. Just
Yeah.
know that there is change, and you can do it. I know how hard it is, but you can do it. You can put that life behind you, and it doesn't have to be a noose around your neck. You can take that noose out and move forward. Because sometimes that's what happens. People give you rope thinking that, yeah, they're going to dig you out, but the rope becomes a noose, and you're really killing yourself, you know? And
Yeah.
today that's what I get to do, man. Today I have my kids in my life. Today I get to call my kids as mom, and we have the best relationship that we've ever had. I don't know if you remember earlier in the show, as I said that I had two kids that were taken
Yeah.
away from me young.
Yeah.
So I don't get to talk to my son yet, but my oldest daughter is back in my life. I didn't talk to her for 13 years, but
Wow.
today I am part of her life. Today I get to be part of her life, and she's about to graduate high school. Like everything that I have wronged in my life today, I'm correcting that, man, and I'm able to do that.
Yeah.
And move forward. I don't know. Life is crazy. It just, when you're doing the next right thing and you have trust in the process, everything just meshes together.
Mm.
Today, I don't focus on making money. Today, my focus is on just being a good man, showing up, trusting the process, doing the next right thing, being of service, and everything else just comes, and it just comes. It's just
Yes.
crazy.
It is, isn't it? It's crazy how I I like to say God always places the right people or the right things or the right circumstance or whatever it may be in front of you at the right time. And it's by doing exactly what you just said, Mario. You freaking nailed it because I've rebuilt my life. I mean, I did not even come close to what you've gone through in life by all means. However, I still had to rebuild my life in a way. And when I figured out that I just had to stop trying to control everything and just show up every day, be a good person, have integrity, and love as many people as you can, don't judge, have empathy, all this stuff come into play and it helped get me to where I'm at in my life. And I'm sure you look at this as well, because I don't see my version is there's no finish line when it comes to bettering ourselves, right? We can always grow somewhere, one direction or another. And it doesn't matter if we're 80 or 90, we can still grow. There's no stop to it. And one thing I wanted to ask you, so we're going over how amazing life is right now for you, and you got your daughter, and your daughter back, and she's getting ready to graduate. You can communicate with your ex-wife. When you was in your other lifestyle, did you even picture the lifestyle that you're in right now? Because some of
Mm,
the people I've interviewed who grew up in gangs from little kids, I mean, basically 3, 4, 5 years of age, they were already involved with the gangs. And they're like, they didn't realize there was another life out there because that's all they knew.
yeah,
So did you ever really picture yourself where you're at right now? I mean, you knew you wanted something different. You
yeah.
just didn't quite know what that was, correct?
Yeah. So I grew up, my parents, they're still married today. They had a very, they didn't have a very good relationship growing up. They're always fighting, like all kinds of crazy things happen. Like, so I knew that I wanted to be similar to them, like to be part of their kid's life, because I mean, at least they were always there.
Yeah.
So I knew that in my life, I wanted to be a good dad. I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know what showing up, what I don't know how to teach how to teach my son to ride a bike. All these things. I didn't know any of that stuff. My dad wasn't around to teach me all that stuff either. He was always working. He that's all he did is I very rarely seen him. My mother was taking care of us, but that wasn't a thing. So I didn't know how to do all these things. I didn't even know what that looked like. And so no, to answer your question, I would never picture this. I always thought that my job, my responsibility as a father is just to provide financially,
Yeah.
but there's so much more to being a father than money.
Oh, absolutely. And there's so much more too than just using that money as your stepping stones to have a good life, right? Because I mean, I look at myself as having a really good life right now, even with just what's just recently happened to me. I still look at having a really good life, and it's just that whole outlook of it all, because I was the same way about always wanting money, and I've never really ever had it. And I used to work my butt off. Missed a lot of my daughter's plays when they were little because I was going to work. There's no way the dad has to work. And now
Yeah.
it's crazy. I mean, I got back to where I started going to everything that my daughters did, but now I have this opportunity to be a papa. And
Yeah.
it means the world to me to go to all their soccer games, all their dance recitals. And every once in a while I have to miss because of life and there's certain things that come up. But just that joy of being able to show up, and you've mentioned that a couple times in this, to show up in the right way, respectful way, and life just seems to flow with such ease. Not saying shitballs don't still get thrown at us because they, right? But
Yeah, I mean, there's
it's all
always
part
things
of
that
life.
happen in life. Life ain't perfect,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know. I wish that life was all unicorns and rainbows and happiness, you know. But life is just like what you said. Life is what you make it. It's about your attitude. It's about the way you show up. It's about the way you view things.
Yeah.
Because us as people, as human beings, we view things very negative mostly. But if you can change your mindset and change your viewpoints of how you view things, man, it don't matter what you go through in life, you can always find the positive. Always. I can go back in my life. I've been back and all my life. That's something that we do here. And we look at what was the positive. What did you learn from that experience? Instead of looking at it as a negative, let's flip that to a positive and see what did you learn from that, or what can you do better next time from that.
Yeah.
And that's something that I implement in my life today, to know that it doesn't matter if potentially something's not going right, because in life we can plan things a million times. How many times has it planned out for you just how you wanted it?
Not very often.
Almost never.
Yeah, not very often.
Right?
Yep.
Almost never. And when it does, you're like, oh wow, that's a miracle.
Yes.
And so if we can learn how to pivot and change directions and make the best of every situation, we win. We win every time.
Yeah.
And that's what I do today, man. Today I just win. It doesn't matter. It's all a win.
Yeah.
We can view things as negative, but I view things as positive, as a learning experience in my life. Because I mean, I'm not sure if you know this, but Red Barn Academy is closing.
Yes. Yeah. I've known for the while through the grapevine of people that I hang with. I knew something was coming before
Yeah.
it actually came. Yeah.
So Red Barn is closing, but with trust in the process, and like we talked about, now we're transitioning everything to John Vulcan Academy. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them.
Not very much. No. And you guys are moving to North Salt Lake now, right? Correct?
Yeah, exactly. So everything is just working out, man. You
Yeah.
just put trust in the process and put faith, and everything lines out the way it needs to.
Yeah.
We'll all have jobs. Everything's going to be similar, and we get to continue saving more lives, man, and impacting more, impacting the community more.
Yeah. Every time I've gone to Red Barn and met more of the individuals that's there, whether they're the students or clients that are there, or it's the employees that work there, there's nothing but love, there's nothing but integrity, and you can tell that the people there are there for a purpose, and that's to put out their hand, help other individuals become better individuals. And at the same time, it's making them better individuals as too, because when we are those of us who go out and work with other people, it's crazy because some of the people I've worked with, I'm like, I'm really starting to think they're the coach because what they're teaching me, right? They're opening my eyes as well. And
Yeah,
it is such an amazing life when you do throw in that towel and just say, hey, there's a higher power out there. That higher power has control of everything. And I just got to trust the process, like you said, have the faith,
yeah,
and it takes so much more stress off of us. So I mean, look how many people out there are going nuts every single day, right?
yeah,
They're that herd of sheep going into the office every day, or going into the plant, or cleaning restrooms, or cleaning restaurants, or waitressing, or whatever it may be. And it's that constant, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Once you can allow your brain to let that go and just trust everything, my gosh, the pressure, it keeps us away from us wanting to go do a line of cocaine or have a drink. I mean, how many people stressful day at work, right? And go, shit, let's go to the bar and have a couple drinks afterwards. And all that just
yeah,
comes to a stop. It's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I agree 100%, man. That's exactly right. It's today I strive to be more. Today I want to be more. And that's kind of what's next for me. So I'll be working at John Vulcan Academy. We'll be doing that. I'll be doing the same thing. I do the legal and admissions. I do outreach. And I'm excited for the next step. I'm excited to continue helping people, man. I'm excited to continue helping our current students, get what I have today. And you're 100% correct. In life, today I'm a sponge. Today I still absorb things from everybody. There's always something you can learn from people.
Yeah.
Always. Before in my old life, I didn't think I could learn from anybody because I was a know-it-all. I thought I knew everything and I was the best at everything, and today I don't have to live that way, man. You know, Today I get to just be part of a community. Today I get to help others. And that's what drives me, man. And I'm hoping that in a year or so I'll move to Vegas. So my kids live in Vegas. My other two kids live in Vegas. So I'm hoping to move back to Las Vegas and we'll see what happens there, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you thinking of still working in the recovery community when you go?
I actually been thinking about it. So before I was thinking about getting into sales,
Uh-huh.
doing maybe sales or consulting. But I love what we do, man. I love helping people. And I know in Las Vegas they need help, man. I lived in Las Vegas for a little bit over 8 years. I know a lot of people that are still in addiction over there, active addiction. I know that they need help with potentially maybe even, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
The future,
Yeah.
it's a lot of things in plan.
Well, and there's only one
You
person
know,
that knows what our future is, right? And he's not telling us.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly right. Right now I kind of just go day by day. I do have a plan. I do have goals. Um, but as far as like that long out, I just put trust and faith in my higher power that, because he's guiding me. I always get these, the direction that I need to be going in my life. And right now, this is where I need to be. This is what I need to be doing. I need to be continuing sharing my story, going out there and empowering others, letting people know that they can do it, man. That there is a way, that there's hope, that it doesn't matter what you've done in your life, like we said before. You can change, man. But it takes hard work and discipline. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's just like when you're out there grinding hard on the street. It's the same thing changing your life. You have to continuously grind at it. You can't forget that you're just a couple bad choices away from going right back to the same thing. You can't be prideful. You got to ask for help.
That's one thing
You
that I have
know,
found out too that's helped me with everything that you're saying, Mario, is really starting to recognize when that ego's kicking in, right? To want to take you to a whole different direction. Um, Once you can learn how to also notice that when that ego does pop up, to be able to grab it and say, nah, this is not the time to show your face. I'm going to submerge you a little bit so go the right direction. Even if I have to tuck my tail between my legs, it's okay.
exactly. That's exactly right, man. And I grew up fighting. I grew up boxing. I grew up doing mixed martial arts. I did a few amateur fights. And so today I'm back at the gym. Today I'm back doing it. And all that stuff helps you, man. It just recenters you to,
Mm.
to, to really look at life. It's all about discipline, man. Life's about discipline. A lot of people say it's about motivation, but I don't know about you, but in the morning when the alarm goes off, do you have motivation to get up?
Oh, hell no. Most of us don't.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
motivation goes out the window. It's
Yep.
about that discipline that kicks in because you got priorities. You got things that you need to do, people that count on you and lean on you to do things. So if you can focus your life on discipline, everything else just falls into place.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Even the issues that I've been having with my leg and my foot, it, um, many, many mornings I was at the gym just in an excruciating pain, hardly could walk, but I was still there doing what I needed to do. And every doctor with this procedure I've just had done has told me if it wasn't for how strong you are physically
Yeah.
and mentally, you could have lost a lot more. And
Oh man.
that has made me feel really good, right? Because my vessels are strong. I mean, having an amputation isn't easy. Luckily, I'm grateful that it's
No.
below the knee. I get to have my knee at
Yeah.
least, right? And I got to be grateful. And I remember when they first said that that was the direction we needed to go, first thing that popped in my head was my life's over, right? Okay, my life's
Yeah.
over. And then I had to stop and think about it for a minute and go, wait, no, it isn't. There are people that are doing amazing shit every day that have prosthetic legs, prosthetic arms, and they're still doing amazing stuff. I just got a portion of my leg. There are people who have their whole legs. I got to be grateful with what portion I still have. And I've had to work on I had my leg amputated last Friday, and here it is Friday. We're recording this show. So 7 days ago, and I've had to really work on my mind this whole 7 times. Now, don't get me wrong. I've had my moments of breakdown, right? I've had to allow my emotions to take their course and just flow with it, not get stuck there. But I've had to, there's times I broke down and I've cried. There's times I've been so pissed, I'm laying in bed, nowhere to go, and I'm just sitting here hitting my mattress or hitting a pillow, and then I have to tell myself, what is this lesson? Why is it going this way? And there's something amazing that's going to happen. I just don't know what it is yet. But to be able to control your mind, and it's because of going through things like what you've gone through, Mario, and going through certain classes and having that support for you right there, it's helped us to where we can get to that next level without falling backwards, right? Because I could be calling people up right now and going, hey, I need something from you, right? You think you can sneak something in? But no, my motivation now is I'm going to get up and be freaking walking soon, as fast as I can heal. I mean, I'm going to take my time. I'm not going to rush it. So it's kind of like that. I don't know if it's the same thing, just in a different way of just how we train our mind and know this is a new part of me now, right? I'm going to have a new piece, a new piece added to my
Yeah,
body.
100%.
Where are we taking it? Yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I just want to commend you, for your courage. I tell you, it's 7 days ago you mentioned you got this operation, and today we're recording a podcast.
Yeah.
I mean that's the mindset that you need to have, because to move forward in life, it's all about your minds, how you view things, man. And you're viewing it as not as a negative any longer. You're viewing it as a positive, because you're seeing it that other people have been through a lot more different things, and look at them, look at what they're doing with their life. Instead of having it to be a setback, it's no longer a setback.
Yeah.
You're continuing life as normal. Duties are as normal.
Yes, sir. Mario, man, it's been
I'm
such a
proud
great
of you, man. Just
pleasure.
continue with that fight. Continue helping people and inspiring people. Continue doing the show and helping, because this probably helps a lot of people that might be struggling today, and
Yeah.
and might be giving them some inspiration, to get through their day.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you for taking time out of your day and being on this show, man. It means a lot to me. And I was really excited when you accepted wanting to come on the show and share your story. Because as you know, it's not easy to be vulnerable and open up and share a part of your life
Yeah.
that you're not proud of and that you can be ashamed of, even though we're not now because we've been able to grow. But I just want to say, tip my hat off to you, brother, and just say thank you. And thank you to for everything that you're doing to help others, as well as, man, so many other amazing people there at Red Barn that's doing the same thing.
Yeah. No, you're welcome. We'll continue fighting the fight, man, and helping people change their lives. That's what we do.
Yes, sir. Do you have any last words of inspiration you want to share with us?
No, I mean that's it. Just really the message is, don't matter what you've gone through in life, there's always a new path. I always say you got two paths. You got the path that your higher power setting for you, or you can veer off and go live the path, right? The path of misery. Today we get to choose which path we go on, because we know what's best for us. And today I get to go on the path, man. And there is hope. There is hope for redemption. There is hope for inspiration, and just have faith in your higher power, have trust in the process, and know that if you do the next right thing, you work hard, you be a service, you'll change your life, man.
I love it. Great words of inspiration right there from Mario Hernandez, man. Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you to all our guests, all our future guests, past guests. Thank you to all our past sponsors. And I want to say thank you mostly to all you listeners. You guys are the ones that's making this possible. So we really do appreciate it. And we're going to leave you with this as we do at the end of every show. Remember, addiction is giving up everything for one thing, and recovery is giving up one thing for everything. We're out.